I personally have never had a crazy babysitting experience, but let me tell you, these are all really good examples of why I don't want kids right now. These demon children. Hi my lovelies, it's Rebecca Rogers, and as you can tell, my voice is not back to normal yet. If you've never met me before, you're probably thinking, oh thank God, because that voice is so annoying. It's not much better when it's normal. If you're one of my regular lovelies, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here. After the week I just had in California, my husband told me, Rebecca, you just need like a good couple days of not speaking to anyone so you can just rest and recover. Does he not know me? That's never gonna happen. Anyways, it's Thursday, meaning it's time for Babysitters to let us know we just can't make this stuff up. I asked my Facebook and Instagram followers, hey, we've all babysat at one time or another, or at least most of us. Tell me about one time where you just thought, oh, I don't get paid enough for this. And here are 15 of some of y'all's answers. I showed up to a family's house and one of the kids was crying on the toilet. The parents told me, don't worry, she just has an upset stomach, and the parents just left. About an hour later, I was putting the kids to bed and I just hear crying and one of the girls calling her mom. I went to check on her and she told me everything was fine, but the whole room smelled like vomit. Apparently, she threw up from the top bunk onto her little sister in the bottom bunk who was somehow still asleep. I called the parents to ask where spare sheets were and they just told me to leave them. That the kids would be fine for a few hours till they got home. What? You wanna just leave the kids in barf? Not even their own barf. Someone else's barf? Like you're okay with your kid just sleeping in that? Oh no. Nope, not my business. Not my business. I feel like if I was the one babysitting though, I'd have questions. That's not something that I feel like a kid should just, they'll be okay. Will they? I babysat for 2 kids regularly, one of which wouldn't stop licking me. The parents didn't even encourage her to stop. They just thought it was funny. I didn't. This is a second example of me just also not wanting other people's bodily fluids on me. No. I don't get why the parents wouldn't be like, stop that. Like, I know people who tell their dogs, don't lick, they don't like being licked. My own mom tells her dog, stop licking, they don't like being licked. Why would you not tell your child to not lick people? No one wants their germs on them. And think about, like what if I rode the bus and my arm was just like sitting on the bus, and your kid just licked the arm that was just sitting on the railing or the windowsill of the bus. That's gross. You don't want your kid licking that? What are you doing? No one should just be licking things. That's so unsanitary. This one kid I babysat genuinely didn't understand why she couldn't throw her baby brother out the window. She had temper tantrums the entire night because she just wanted to chuck the infant out the window. You know those memes where it's like, parents, add on to like why your child cried this morning. It's like because you took a Band-Aid off or that just needs to go on the list. I love those memes. I need someone in the comments to start a chain of the funniest reasons that your child threw a temper tantrum. What is the funniest reason that your kid had a meltdown? We'll start with this one. I'll start. This child had a meltdown because they couldn't throw their brother out the window. You next. These are gonna be good. I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it. Once I babysat for the 6-year-old who had to have his cloth diaper changed every 2 hours right on the dot. At first I thought it might be due to a disability, but no. The parents just genuinely didn't want to potty train him and he didn't mind being babied. I stopped going to that house. I wasn't paid enough for that. I feel like 6 is way too old. And again, she said it wasn't a disability thing. That would have been completely understandable. But it's not. That's too old, right? How old are kids usually potty trained? Many children show signs of being ready for potty training between ages 18 and 24 months. Your child's 6. I took the kid I was babysitting to the park and he asked if he could pack his own backpack for a little picnic. Sure thing. When we get to the park, he starts pulling out an assortment of adult toys out of his bag. He said he got them from his parents' room. I never let him pack anything on his own again. As you should. You don't need to pack anything for a while. You're good. I was playing hide and seek with this kid I was babysitting, and she somehow got onto the roof. I had to call the fire department to help get her down. How would you even explain that?
Yeah, the kid's just on the roof. Can you help me get her down?
Because on one hand, they're playing hide and seek. Like, she's not physically watching in that moment. She's closing her eyes and counting because they're playing hide and seek. But on the other hand, I can definitely see her getting blamed for the kid getting up there. This little girl I babysat got mad at me because I wouldn't let her go play outside after her bath. So she jumped at me, snatched my glasses off her face, and broke them in two. When the mom got home, I told her, and she insisted it had to have been an accident. When I asked her to replace the glasses, accident or not, she told me I should have been more careful and that it wasn't her responsibility to replace my glasses. Your kid broke them. She's right, it doesn't matter if it was an accident or not. Your kid broke her glasses. Glasses are expensive. What are you talking about? It's not your responsibility. Your kid did it. That's the exact reason why teachers aren't supposed to be taking phones anymore. Because if something happens while they're in the teacher's possession, teacher's responsible. Your kid was responsible, whether it was an accident or not. Doesn't matter. You're responsible. It's your responsibility. I don't think I'm wrong in that at all, but by chance, is there anyone that doesn't agree with me on that? I think it's pretty common sense. I can't see any argument where I wouldn't be correct in that. But you know, it doesn't hurt to ask. I spoke with a mom about watching her 2 children overnight until she and her husband came back after breakfast. When I got to the house, there were 5 children there, not 2. The kids were so ill-behaved. It was miserable. On top of that, the parents didn't even come back until dinner the following day instead of right after breakfast. The mom refused to pay me more than the agreed upon amount, even though there were more kids than we agreed on and I was there for way more time. That's so annoying. I cannot tell you how many times that kind of happened to me. Not the more kids than I expected, but the times. I had a family that I would babysit who was never back when she said she was gonna be back. Never! But I needed the money and I was in college. And I remember towards the end when I finally was starting to stand up for myself and I'd say, hey, I have a test tomorrow. You know, I'm in college. I have a test tomorrow. I have to be back by this certain time. I have to be home. I have to sleep. And then they just wouldn't come home until like 2 in the morning because, you know, my time doesn't matter. Some people are just so inconsiderate. When I was babysitting, this 9-year-old thought it would be funny to get his dad's firearm out of the locked cabinet and wave it around. And he even pointed it at me. When his parents got home and I told them, the dad had the audacity to think it was funny. It's never funny to point a dangerous weapon at people. I'm never going back there. Never is it funny or a joke to take a weapon like that and point it at someone. Accidents happen. That's not something to joke around about. No, absolutely not. The fact that the parents didn't even support you in that and just encouraged that it was a joke, no. Because that just tells me it's gonna happen again and you never know when those accidents happen. It's not worth it. A kid I was babysitting once told me, my pet frog looks just like you. I've never washed my face so hard in my life. Kids say the most brutal things. I'm telling you, there is no filter. They can be so brutally honest. It is heart-shattering. Sometimes these kids will find like the one thing that you're insecure about and they'll just hone in on it, just hurt your feelings. I was babysitting this 9-year-old who went to the bathroom and then started calling me in there. She asked me to wipe her. This wasn't something that was discussed with me before the parents left, so I said it wasn't happening. I just looked this up earlier, right? It said potty training 18 to 24. I feel like if it's supposed to be weird that a 6-year-old isn't potty trained, it's definitely weird that a 9-year-old has to be wiped, right? And if there's something going on, okay, everyone, you know, there's developmental delays, there's disabilities. That's normal, right? So talk to the babysitter about it if that's a thing. I feel like it's very unfair to just assume someone babysitting a 9-year-old is okay with that. When someone agrees to babysit infants or really little kids, yeah, they do so understanding there's probably gonna be bodily fluids involved. 9 years old? I feel like that's not so much assumed and that really needs to be communicated, because that would be a no from me also. You just can't be mad when you don't talk to them about it beforehand. That's not fair. I once babysat for a little boy who would make up random things like I spanked him or I refused to give him food to his mom. I'm not sure why she kept bringing me back, if she even considered it could be true, but I needed the money, so I kept going back. Apparently she installed security cameras around the house thinking she was gonna catch me in the act. All she caught was her kid rubbing it in my face that his mom believed his lies. She paid me double that day and never asked me back again. There are so many people who have told me, I wish they put security cameras in classrooms so we can really see what you're telling these kids. Gretchen, do you know how badly I wish you could actually see how terribly Jimmy acts in class? Susan, I would pay money for you to see the way that Jessica speaks to other kids, okay? The reason there aren't video cameras in classrooms isn't because I don't want you to see what's going on. It's because you legally don't have permission to watch other people's children. There's just no way to put video cameras in the classrooms without getting other people's kids in the video also, and then you gotta deal with strangers having access to that, and it's messy. Trust me. It's not me. I would love that. I know we're talking about babysitters, but it hit a nerve. I just needed to share that with you guys. A mom once told me the only thing her daughter specifically wasn't allowed to do was eat a bowl of sugar. She was about as disciplined as you can imagine, and yes, that night was a disaster. You know, at that point, I probably would have told Mom, listen, we need a couple more ground rules just for security reasons. I feel like telling a child the only thing you're not allowed to do is eat a bowl of sugar is asking for problems. I think it would be fair to come up with a couple non-negotiables with Mom just to make sure the night was a little smoother. Like, no, you can't hit the babysitter. No, you can't just walk out of the house. You know, I feel like those would be fair, you know? What are some other non-negotiables that you think are just common sense and very fair for a babysitter to just say, look, gotta have these little tidbits in there? Let me know what yours are. I'm very curious. Or what yours were whenever you babysat. Very curious. You never know what poor 16-year-old soul is watching and is thinking, oh, that's a good rule that I can add to my list. Let's help them out. I did it again. Y'all know I don't wear my glasses when I record, and I skipped over the same exact number. 2 stories I just skipped over. It's fine. Everything's fine. A father called me to come babysit his kids while he took his wife out to dinner. She ended up coming home earlier than planned, sobbing. Apparently, Dad planned this dinner to ask her for a divorce, and I ended up getting stuck with the crying wife who just wanted someone to talk to. Oh no. Maybe she's got like a mom or a sister or a best friend that you can call, so you can skedaddle on out of there. That is not a situation any of us want to get stuck in. That's unfortunate. This mother asked while I was watching her kid if I could try and potty train them. Her 6-month-old child. What is up with people not understanding the extremes of potty training? They're not even a year old yet. Are they even crawling at that point? I know they're not walking. And they're definitely not talking either. You think they can just go to the bathroom by themselves? They can't even stand. I don't even think they have kneecaps yet. Fun fact, my husband is so obsessed with babies' kneecaps because they're born without kneecaps. They don't have any kneecaps. If you have an infant, go check. They don't have kneecaps. And anytime one of our families or friends has a baby, every time Avery sees them, do they have kneecaps yet? He wants to know. He's so fascinated by it. He loves it. But if they don't even have kneecaps to stand up, how do you expect them to go to the bathroom? Babysitters don't get paid enough. That was 15 examples of babysitters just not being paid enough. When we think of underappreciated professionals, so many times we think of nurses and teachers and social workers, people like that. But we forget that a lot of us started the working world as babysitters. A lot of people take babysitters for granted because they're so young and because it's not a real career. And I'm not talking about nannies, okay? Nannies, au pairs, that's a real career. I'm not talking about professional. I'm talking about kids that are just starting out. I think I started babysitting at like 14 years old. I know I wasn't taken seriously then. But as always, the first step to respecting each other is understanding each other. And if we can do that while laughing, let's do it. I hope the next time you guys are out and about and it starts pouring rain, I hope the rain breaks just long enough for you to be able to get back into your car completely dry. Have a fabulous rest of your day. I'll see you next time, my lovelies. Mwah! Bye.